Okay, so we're taking the Solstice out on a little test drive. Now, I can tell you a lot about this car because it's mine. But I figured some fresh impressions driving it down some twisty roads on the highway would, you know, help to better understand why a Solstice. Why would you buy this thing? And even right now, as we're on these little twisty back roads, I don't know, it's just something so much more endearing about it than a regular car. Now, you really do feel kind of like you're part of the machine, you're part of it. Kind of turn in a little sharper and a little faster and a little harder just to do it, because you know the car can. You know you can, but the car is just kind of like, it's kind of like that one best friend that everybody has, that you go, oh man, let's go do that. And instead of telling you the rational reasons you shouldn't, he's like, bro, let's do it. It has high limits for such a little car because for 177 horsepower, it's got some big tires back there to keep it all settled down. And the suspension is set up just for this sort of thing. So when you turn, when you hit these, even these little bumps mid-turn, they don't upset the car. Like that one should have sent us flying off the road if we were in anything more exotic, I would think. You can push your limits knowing that the car isn't going to max out yet. Now, acceleration, as far as that goes, we're not talking something that's going to move mountains. We're talking, you know, like 5, 6 second 60 time, which is pretty quick. But this car isn't about straight line speeds. Now there are other cars that do that much better. This is more about just making you feel involved, like this turn right here. Oh yes, lean into it, drop it into second, then third, and you're out. And then wait, here comes another one. You just kind of want to tie them all together. Oh yes, and see what you can get away with. I've got my videographer helping me out today. I know you can't see him. He is actually fitting in this car. How tall are you, Robbie?
6'4".
6'4" can fit in this thing. We're about to pull this thing out into a major highway, and one thing you're gonna notice at first is that it's gonna get a lot louder in here. Some of that is just down to the fact that we're in a convertible, and even though the top's up, it's not that great of a sound deadener. But you know, that's one of the sacrifices you make when you say, hey, I'm gonna buy a convertible. Okay, now, like I said, acceleration isn't the end-all be-all in this car, but the gearing really helps it. The gearing was set up for, you know, quick, short acceleration bursts, like you're on an autocross track. So right up here we go from 50 miles an hour to 65. Just the acceleration, if you shift it just right, is actually pretty good, I'll say. So here we go, 60, 65. It pulls really well, especially if you keep it up in the high RPMs, because this is a, you know, dual overhead cam engine. Lower RPMs, you're cruising, you're, you know, worried about gas mileage. High RPMs, that second cam kicks in and you're scooting a little bit. All right, now this car was put out by General Motors in the mid-2000s, which of course means that a lot of it is hashed together from other cars. Now, I'm not knocking them, but all this is shot through the transmission from the Chevrolet Colorado GMC Canyon. The door handles are, of course, from a Chevy Cobalt. You know, you've got your GM factory radio. It's good. It works. Let's see here. You also have a subwoofer behind the passenger seat. Looking around this car, especially the interior, you get a feeling that the Solstice was made for the driver. It's not quite as extreme as the S2000 in its single-mindedness, but you know, everything is tilted towards the driver, and you really get the feeling that this car is about you. And forget the passenger, no offense. You know, this is built for you. Whereas I've seen the Saturn Sky interiors, which was the platform made, very similar to this car. The dash is more elegantly laid out. It's better made, you know, for sharing, I guess you'd say. Whereas if you look right here, it's got this grab bar for the passenger that's right here by the transmission that also kind of works as a little gate, like, don't touch my radio. Bad passenger. Also, back to the part sharing. We've got the rear end from a first generation Cadillac CTS, which it's not bad. It's independent, but it has been known to have god-awful amounts of wheel hop. If you're trying to launch, you know, like at a track or anything else, it's gonna skip and you're gonna feel like that rear end is about to implode on you, which, looking at the forums, having too much power through one of these Solstices and, you know, that independent suspension has been known to blow some of them out, which maybe not the best idea. Okay, another good thing about the Solstice, well, let's put it this way, it's not really good or bad considering the car. It's more of things that I like. I have a big foot. Most shoes I wear a 12, 12 and a half. Finding a manual smaller car that I can actually operate the pedals without tripping over my own feet was a challenge. You know, some cars have a very narrow pedal box. Looking at the higher end cars, I've sat in a newer model Dodge Viper and I got really depressed because the pedal box is so tiny that my feet would literally overlap. But this is actually set up incredibly well. I love the directness of the clutch. It's not too heavy, not too light. You know, pedals are very responsive. It's a great little car. I mean, despite all the flaws, you try to find problems with it, but when you drive, when it's just you and the road, you can't hate it. You can't. Good little car.